Today's episode of The Rock Fight was made possible by support from Global Sales Guys. Global Sales Guys isn't your normal sales agency. With offices across the U.S. and Europe and partnerships with retailers on 4 continents, GSG is your one-stop shop for brands looking to grow their presence in outdoor specialty shops worldwide. Brands like Van Deer, Red Bull, Nikki, Picture Organic, Kip Run Decathlon, Deluxe, Fubuki, and Gore-Tex all know that Global Sales Guys provide an innovative and full-service approach to delivering their brand's sales and marketing needs. Is your brand looking to break into the U.S. outdoor market? Is your retail shop looking for what's next? Then you need to be working with Global Sales Guys. And if you want to know what's next when it comes to outdoor running and action sports, specialty retail, Global Sales Guys is what's next. See for yourself what's next and get in touch with Global Sales Guys by heading to globalsalesguys.com today. Hey, Rock Fighters, 2026 has arrived, and Lem Shoes is bringing in the new year with new products that will keep your feet happy, no matter what the occasion. Hey, you want to get out for a hike? Check out the Trail Thrasher or the Trailblazer Mid. Are you looking for function and fashion? The Summit Boot Pro will work hard to make you look good while keeping your feet comfy during the winter months. And at the end of the day, stay comfy with Lem's brand new Zen Clog. And attention outdoor and footwear retailers, Lem's recently expanded their wholesale sales team. Do you want to meet your new local rep? Well, send an email to Colo, that's C-O-L-O, at lemshoes.com. Just make sure you tell them that the Rock Fight sent you. Lems, where less equals more. Fjallraven isn't here to conquer mountains, tame rivers, or beat the weather. We are here to go slowly, to tread carefully, and to cherish the visit. For us, the outdoor experience has never been a race to victory. It's an ongoing journey to create equipment and memories that last for generations to come. Our mission is to inspire more people to move with nature, and we do this by developing durable and functional equipment that never goes out of fashion. What we really want is to make it easier for people to enjoy spending time in nature on nature's terms. This is our passion, so let's use this vast experience and competence to help more people feel at home in nature, because when they do, they will take greater care of it. Get started on your Fjallraven journey by heading to fjallraven.com today.
Rock fight, rock fight, rock fight, rock fight, rock fight, rock fight.
Welcome to the Rock Fight, where we speak our truth, slay sacred cows, and sometimes agree to disagree. This is an outdoor podcast that aims for the head. I'm Colin True, and joining me today, be sure to check out Netflix this weekend to catch their new special, where they'll be climbing a flight of stairs at the mall on their way to check out a Foot Locker. It's Eoin Comerford and producer Dave.
That's right.
Can't wait for it, guys.
That's right.
I'm escalator only, Colin. I'm not climbing
As Mitch
stairs.
Hedberg says, an escalator can never break because it just turns into stairs.
Well, vertical limit 2.
Electric
I think
Boogaloo?
is what we're. yes. Or the elevator is out.
Today we will be talking about some recent headlines that come out of the outdoor industry with a parting shot for Alex Honnold's big upcoming Netflix special. But first, our inbox is open, folks. We want to hear from you. Please send your emails to myrockfight@gmail.com. That's where you can reach out. And if you have a comment for the outdoor industry insider, Eoin Comerford, you can email us at myrockfight@gmail.com, or you can find the consigliere Eoin Comerford on LinkedIn. Did you post anything last week, Eoin?
I did not. It's been busy. People don't do anything for the last 2 weeks of the year, and then they come back and they're just like, oh.
Yeah, right. They're like, hey, man, we took the last 6 weeks off, but now I need to talk to you immediately.
Right. Everything is happening now. Right. And it's like, shouldn't we have planned 2026 before 2026? But anyway, whatever.
Well, all those
all
people
good.
can be blamed for a lack of a LinkedIn post from Eoin last week. How dare all of you do that to deny us his wisdom? And but normally you can find a couple of posts a week over on LinkedIn. Reach out to Eoin there if you want to get in touch with him. Also, don't miss the next episode of Gear Abbey, where Shantae Salabert will answer all of your burning outdoor questions. You can find Gear Abbey on your favorite podcast app. However, starting today, we are going to check in on our latest survey of this past week in Rock Fight's newsletter, News from the Front. We sent out a new listener survey that was seeking some positivity along with some feedback from our listeners. We asked you, the listeners, what outdoor brand...
Why is that seem so out of place, Colin?
Maybe because the world is burning down around us. So like, just was a basic, what are you happy about?
I thought that was, is your hot take related to that? Is that the deal?
Nope, just was hoping we get some people who told us some cool things about this industry that we work in.
Hot takes, cool things.
Takes.
Next on the
It's a
Rock
good podcast.
Fight.
But this, if you remember back to last week. This was actually inspired by the fact that 100% of the people in the survey last week agreed that it was going to be a shitty year,
That's right.
basically. So we're like,
Yeah.
please give us some good
This
news.
is going to be a down year. We agree. 100% of us agree. So yeah, we asked what outdoor brands are you excited about? What outdoor industry trends are you excited about? And who is an outdoor industry retailer that is doing it right in 2026? We got a ton of great responses. So I think we're going to keep this train going. We're going to ask another question for next week's episode. So if you want to get the survey first, sign up for News from the Front by heading to rockfight.co. And then we'll post the survey link on LinkedIn a day or two after the survey comes out. But let's go through some of the responses we got. We got what outdoor industry brands are you excited about? Number one came in Lems, supporter of the show.
Okay.
I'm a Lems dealer, and the brand brings people in. That's pretty good. We got to vote for Patagonia. Patagonia just, continues to be a brand people are excited about, and good on them for doing it. We're fans of Patagonia, despite maybe some of the things you hear and some of the comments you might read on Apple Podcasts. We are supporters of Patagonia.
We
on
are,
this podcast.
absolutely.
Dave, take a victory lap. We had someone who just wrote in ACG.
Oh, there you go.
This was a good one. Fjallraven, Nerona, anything Scandinavian.
Totally. I'm all for that.
They still truly understand what being outdoors should represent. A few votes for Mammut, some of the new products they're bringing in. Also, some people, this was obviously a buyer, they say, I'm looking at Stio and Rab as replacements for some of my current gear. We had a vote for Kip Run, who we saw at the running event. And then Topo, I thought this one was interesting. Topo, one of the only shoe brands I hear people swear by, and now it's number 4 and number 5 on the 2025 PCT Gears survey.
You sure they're not swearing at them? Just want to be clear.
Apparently not. The next one for Topo is Topo Footwear because they realized toe boxes should be roomy and not cramped. Montrail was great before Columbia fucked them up. Like, okay.
Dude, that's a long time ago. That's like complaining about the Egyptian kind of monarchy screwing each other over 2,000 years ago.
No, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, like really?
That's a deep cut.
All right, sure.
Statute of limitations has expired on that one.
Yeah, they're still going on with their Montrail. They've got some Cloud Veil that they're really looking to get going.
Right.
Yeah,
Moonstone,
some Moonstone.
get some hate. Yeah,
some Dana designs.
Oh, come on.
We had one vote for Astro, and then one that was just Mount to Coast, Norda, 7 Mesh, Madison, Normal, and Garmin. So I don't know if that's just a Rock Fight super fan, but that was a good one.
Sounds like a sales rep's portfolio.
Yeah, that's right. All the brands that I represent.
That's right.
What outdoor industry trends are you excited about? Somebody said putting bikes back within the canon of outdoor. I opened a shop with the idea of that being a big part of it.
Yes.
But they said I started off in the bike industry in 2000, but it's the outdoor industry that gives me hope. That's nice. Okay, so this one is some things.
We found the one.
This is the more things
That's
change, the
exciting.
more they stay the same. We had back-to-back answers of fast packing, and then the next one was ultralight and sustainability.
Did anybody mention the timing of trade shows?
Yes, actually.
believe
This is a
that,
good
huh?
way to move to the last one. First of all, the second to last one was e-mountain bike. Gotta love those things. I feel I'm being trolled with that comment.
100%.
Yes.
The last comment here on this one that I wanted to read was in-person events are back. Big events by big corporations trying to make big money will always be lame, but small-scale events by small brands or shops having a small impact on small communities are rad. Put that on a t-shirt.
Okay, right? Size shaming.
And then who is an outdoor industry retailer that is doing it right in 2026? We had a bunch of responses. We had a few for our pal Lloyd Vogel and Garage Grown Gear. It's the best place to find gear that you really need. It's not REI or Dick's, but then we had some people who wrote in REI. We had a bunch of REI respondents. Here we go. Not sure I live in Portland. Dave, did you write in?
What are they
independent
saying?
specialty is lacking. I wish we had a Shields.
Okay.
We don't even have an REI.
Your local skate or snowboard shop. And then the last one, Windthrow in Seattle. They carry rad brands not found at REI Backcountry. You can actually go in and discover a new product or brand. Cool. Plus, they put on dope events. Sounds like that's a Rock Fight endorsed retailer right there. They're doing all the things we say you should do.
Yes.
And then the other last one was in the UK. So our international listeners weighing in, Treads, which is an online retailer. They do good discounts and posts, brick and mortar also. So there you go. Let's get into the headlines we want to talk about today. So this past week, we saw comments made by a bunch of notable outdoor industry leaders. Mary Beth Lawton of REI and Ed Stack from Dick's both spoke at the 2026 National Retail Federation. MB spoke about REI's Peak 28 strategy and the role of AI and tech in the outdoor retail, while Ed Stack reiterated his enthusiasm for Dick's acquisition of Foot Locker. Also presenting at NRF were the leaders of Timberland, the North Face, and Vans. And speaking of those VF-owned brands, per SGB at the ICR conference, VF CEO Bracken Darrell, who still has the undisputed best name in the industry, focused his presentation on the future of Vans and Timberland and the North Face. For Vans, that means a focus on product. For this is according to what Darrell's comments during his presentation. For the North Face, Darrell sees untapped opportunities in the U.S., maybe surprisingly for some of us on this podcast here. And for Timberland, that means capitalizing on the classic yellow boots resurgence. So a lot of CEO talk in the news this past week. Owen, what were your takeaways from the recap of Bracken Darrell's ICR presentation?
I mean, my takeaway from all of these presentations is they've all been to the same media training, which basically is, how do I talk for 15 to 30 minutes and not say a damn thing? I mean, it was
say enough that we have a bunch of articles published about it, right?
Exactly. There was a whole bunch of brand gobbledygook in there. But I think there were some nuggets specifically from Bracken Darrell's presentation. I think if you read between the lines, what you have to do in these things, Vans is taking a little longer than they thought it would. Right, because I think it's Sunny Clow is the CEO they brought in there. Some of the product redo that she's undertaken is coming to the market. It sounds like it has some traction, but as of the last quarter, they were still down like I think it was 9 or 10%. So and
they lost Dave to ACG this past year too.
Okay, so that right there, right. I mean that's a major hit.
It counts for at least 10 or 15 pairs.
So, and they are talking about change to distribution. And, I think there's obviously still work to be done there, but I think they feel like the momentum is coming, but it hasn't shown in the numbers. And then for North Face, the interesting thing there was, as you pointed out, the fact that they thought that they had opportunity in the U.S. That's where they thought they were underpenetrated. And it's like, really? Have you been to a soccer game in any Midwestern, town? I mean, everyone's in North Face. So, but I think the subtext there was the year-round aspect. I think let's face it, North Face, for all intents and purposes, is a lifestyle outerwear brand, right? That's just the major chunk of their business. And so the code that they've got to crack is, okay, how do we get the people that wear our outerwear in the winter to wear our other stuff in the summer? And so that to me is kind of is where the penetration is. And I'm sure, especially given the weather that we're seeing out west right now, I'm sure they would love to be less weather dependent in terms of their outerwear business.
I want your inbox to brace for the influx of emails from the outdoor fanboys who said, Comerford, you said North Face isn't an outdoor brand anymore.
I didn't say that exactly.
That's how they're going to take it.
Well,
Owen, finish your thought about the streamlined focus.
Well, so one of the things that the CEO there, I think it's Caroline Brown, I want to say. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things that the CEO there said, Caroline Brown, in her piece was talking about this streamlined focus that they have around snow, climb, and trail, and that those have become like the new touch points for everything that they do. Every product that they build has to really address one of those three things: snow, climb, or trail. But I think the challenge with that is, realistically, if they're going to appeal to that jacket buyer in the summer, it's going to be more of a lifestyle piece. And maybe it's trail inspired or climb inspired, but that person buying, the Nuptse jacket and walking around Central Park, they're not going to buy, tights for the climbing gym or whatever. I mean, not necessarily. There's some overlap there, but it's not a lot.
I think I've cracked the code now that you've you point that out. Snow, climb, and trail. Maybe that's just another way to say party, career, and commuting. And that could be their lifestyle focus, right?
Yeah, why
They've
can't
told
I-
us where they're going.
Yeah, why can't, a lifestyle have categories like that?
Right? I mean, clearly. And I just want to just say one thing about Vans because I have to weigh in. I think they're facing an existential crisis that's way bigger than their product.
Okay.
I think they're
Is this a
reflexively
bit, or
going
is this
to
like,
product.
are you being sincere?
Oh, I'm being sincerely
Okay.
bitty. But no, they are no longer the symbol of alternative culture that they once were. They've lost their edge about defining that side of subculture, and that's not coming back. And that's okay. It's just that they've grown way out of that. And today I think they have more in common with the Gap than they do with alternative subculture. And so the fixes that are going to be required, while product is always a launch pad, you always need to keep, bringing out the new but the idea that they're going to, land on a checkerboard slip-on or an old school that's going to redefine the brand is very small. I think this is about branding, and really, once they've got to this level of polish, it's hard to be the icon of alternative. And so, how are they going to adjust that message going forward as a brand that is new and not what they were before? And distribution's a part of that, product mix, all of that, but it is a new Vans, and I don't know if they fully embrace that yet.
Well, the trend piece of it's interesting, right? I mean, I kind of moving into the Timberland part of it, right? So Timberland, obviously, we gave them a little grief a couple weeks ago because of their terrible boot that they came out with. But aside from that, apparently the yellow boot is seeing a comeback, right? It's starting to trend more as a fashion item. Do you see a footwear trend shift coming, Dave, because of because of what Vans is trying to do, that more people are buying boots? Do you think the running thing wears out a little bit?
In the olden days, that would be true. I'm not sure that that's the same, that the hot boot style will be the harbinger of a trend shift. I mean, certainly the Vans challenges certainly add to that in terms of silhouettes are going to be popular. And even with the heat that they're getting, I'm not sure that the wheat boot has the pull that it once did. But yes, the idea that we can be shifting into preference to chunkier shoes. Even the trail running thing is predicated a bit on that. It's taking the sleek silhouettes of run or even the maximalism of kind of cushion and bringing in a new kind of chunk, if you will, even if it's just in tread size. So I think that's all part of it. But I think it's definitely going to be a part of Timberland's kind of DNA mix as they try to expand from just kind of a boot offering.
I mean, this is a little like, go ahead on.
But so from a alternative to the mainstream kind of approach, which Vans was, and you could say Tim's to a degree because it came out of urban culture, etc. The fact that that maximalist shoe is now the mainstream. I mean, we saw it at TRE, right? It was every effing shoe looked the same.
We're going to talk about one coming up here, which has a maximalist look to it, right?
Oh, right, exactly. And so now every asshole is wearing those shoes, right? And so potentially, this asshole included. So potentially, now if you are part of a counterculture, if you will, like a Vans wanted to be and once was, then going back to a flat-bottomed, low-profile look or a boot look is counterculture to the core.
Yeah, you're totally right. And again, I say that without. Yes, Vans is still a marker of a counterculture. Converse is still going to be that way. Dr. Martens is still going to be. They have resonance to it. They're not going away from it. It's just that their brands have shifted in a big macro sense. And like I said, they've gotten much more polished. And so it's like taking it's like taking a dress shoe and scuffing it and wearing it into situations that you wouldn't normally. I mean, it's just they now kind of cross both of those worlds. But yeah, I think young subversives will still continue to grow up wearing some of those footwear choices.
Well, these are three really interesting brands for a conversation like this, right? Because they in their own way have established movements in a lot of ways, like coming out of the 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, what does a trend even mean anymore? And when now we're in a world of niche, small audiences, I mean, all the way from
That's a great point.
Right, pop culture, sport, all these things, interests are now being served. There was a time where it's like, hey, boots are coming back. Put your Chucks away and your Vans away because we're wearing boots now. Now it's like, yeah, okay, there's some more interest maybe in this in boots, but doesn't mean that you can't still wear Sambas or Chucks or Vans or whatever it is and still be considered cool, right? Because now it's more about like what's your personal brand and your personal look and your personal, how are you dressing is more important than fitting into the broader monoculture, which doesn't really exist anymore.
Right. Well, it's more like music.
Yeah.
Right. You have so many styles, brands, choices, everything at your fingertips. The exclusivity aspect is hard to replicate.
So thinking about that, like this strategy, like if they're really leaning back into the yellow boot, which probably makes sense, it's iconic. It's a boot that people know, and everyone should have a pair in your closet, all that kind of thing. Can that pay off? I mean, if as Dick's looks to figure out Foot Locker's future, right? If you look at the retail, how you bring a trend and your product back to a retailer, does this strategy pay off to kind of focus in on the yellow boot?
I think so. I don't think Tim's ever really stopped focusing on the yellow boot, if we're being honest. I think that the challenge that Tim's has with the yellow boot, or Vans maybe even with the old school, is when you get so identified with one style, you're just such a victim, if you will, to the ebbs and flows of whether that style is in or out. Same with the Chuck Taylor, right? It's like that is the style. You can make a whole shit ton of other great stuff and great styles, but if 80% of your business is in this one style, it just becomes challenging, right? You're not as resilient to the market. And I think there was an interesting comment from Bracken during his presentation that the top seller of the 6-inch boot back in the day was a single Foot Action store out of New Jersey. Right. And Foot Action used to be owned by Foot Locker. So it does kind of get you thinking like, okay, well, is that the entree to, Foot Locker being more on trend? And I must admit, I haven't been into a physical Foot Locker in a decade. So it's been a hot minute. But I was online on their and they have 12 different styles of the Tim boot today, the 6-inch, and 4 of those are exclusives, like a blue suede type of one. There's some
like a color,
some with like patent leather for the lower part of the upper. I mean, just interesting stuff. So I could see a world in which, as they take their merchandising to the next level, a much more curated approach, which is I think what Ed Stack is talking about, to where you could have more of a capsule collection for Tim's in a Foot Locker store, where it's a whole thing versus just one more pair of boots on the wall.
Dave, does that something we talk about on the show a bunch, and you and I have talked about offline, is a lot of outdoor industry brands insisting on product marketing over brand marketing. Right. And so to Owen's point, like, now you have the 6-inch boot is everywhere. You can find multiple versions of it on here. And like, so if it differentiates, is the strategy to then elevate the brand as opposed to focusing in on a single product?
I think what you're kind of even pointing at is that the customer traditionally in an athletics or lifestyle space like a Foot Locker or Foot Action isn't there necessarily buying on feature, right? So even though they're looking for an outdoor capable product like a boot, or an outdoor type boot, that's not the appeal to it. It's the fashionability, it's the style. And so therefore, making sure your brands stay up in that kind of style desire place, with then the feature benefits being more of a rationalization to that emotional kind of want, that's primary in that distribution. So if you're going to distribute there, you need to play in that and recognize that's where that customer's at.
Right.
And then of course the specialty equation might be different, right, in terms of where you're leaning into and what kind of the customer's looking for. So I think it has to do with that kind of play. I mean, Foot Action was always interesting because they were always more of a streetwear, seasonal trend, like lifestyle silhouette kind of thing, with athletic tinge to it, made them distinct from Foot Locker. And really what you've seen since they acquired and, regestated and spit up Foot Action, it's they've kind of adopted some of that. So I think Foot Locker can create like you said, curated spaces, or just the distribution, or the product mix that will allow them to go from core functional athletic product all the way into style trend outdoor product, right?
Yeah, because I think a lot of what good merchandising about is actually having a point of view, right? And I think
right, exactly.
What Ed Stack was talking about in the latest call was that it was just a sea of like just a string of shoes, one bum, 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 one
Yeah.
after the other, not differentiated in any way, versus basically taking a point of view and saying, no, we're not going to show you whatever 50 basketball shoes. We're going to show you 15 basketball shoes, but we're going to romance the hell out of those shoes, and we're telling you that these are the shoes you want because these are the coolest shoes.
Right. I agree. I'd like to see what Dick Locker is going to do with their, distinction for sure.
All right, guys. Well, I think it's time for the lightning round. Are we ready?
Oh, so ready.
Okay.
Rock Fight Lightning Round.
All right, first up in the lightning round. Per retail boss J. Crew has launched a new collection of lifestyle apparel as a partner of the U.S. ski and snowboard team. The 26-piece capsule collection is hitting at the perfect time just ahead of the upcoming Winter Olympics. Dave, reading this made me think one thing and one thing only. J. Crew still exists. How did I miss that?
Well, you're not a 50-something woman, Colin. So that's as far as we know.
What? As far as we know, right? Oh, Colin. I look. I know. I have a soft spot for J. Crew.
I do
of
too,
course,
by the way. No shots at
growing
J.
up
Crew.
in the 80s and 90s. There. Look, the last 15 years has been nothing but a slow slide into downward pricing and blending in. I mean, there's just no way around that. And look, all these retailers have come in and taken their place. I mean, they took what they kind of pioneered and turned it into kind of now this kind of base segment, if you will. That said, I love this collection. I think looks great. It completely captures, to me, the brand represents this kind of Americana, timely, timeless, a little bit of preppy with a nostalgic kind of edge, but it's modern. I think sports teams could learn from this collection, frankly, and how to take your brand, a simple slogan or an icon like what they're doing with the team and the flag, and turning it into really interesting wearable concepts and silhouettes. I think they're going to sell a lot of these pieces. They're just wearable.
Yeah.
Beyond being kind of Winter Olympic and American flag kind of focused. I think it's a great job. I was surprised. I thought how well it came together. It was very accessible and very clean.
It feels like though these things could have come from the 80s, in terms of like the photography
right.
and the overall feel.
Yes. The 80s doing the 50s.
There you go.
Right.
All right, next up, according to Footwear News, British retailer JD Sports is launching a new way of shopping through AI platforms. Customers will now be able to purchase directly through AI platforms like Google Gemini and ChatGPT. Owen, are you excited to claim an early victory for one of your 2026 predictions?
I am always excited to claim a victory, Colin, although I don't think I can totally claim it here because this
we'll give it to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You're an easy scorer. I would only give myself maybe even partial credit on this one just because I was thinking more in terms of on-site custom LLMs for a brand. This is on the broader LLM itself, and really it's more of kind of an IT payments integration story, because you can get on there, you can ask what sort of footwear. I mean, the JD is owner of Finish Line, and one of the bigger players in England or in the UK. But you can ask about what kind of athletic footwear, and it'll help you. ChatGPT will, and then you can just click on a link and buy it directly. Now, it requires you to set up payments. And then I think the interesting question here is, how quickly will people trust giving an AI their credit card, right? And I know I probably sound like, the young people are like, oh, sure, what the hell? But
So like Grandpa in 1996.
Well, exactly, right. I mean,
I'll mail my check in.
In my day, we had to enter it in each field.
But right, a quarter century ago, people were saying that about e-commerce. Like, I'm never going to put my credit card into a website. Are you crazy?
How convenient.
Right. I think it'll happen, but I don't know. There's also a lot of, kind of AI run rampant fears here, is the AI going to go off and, buy a bunch of uranium on the black market with your credit card? I don't know.
The answer is yes. And the answer is also AI is not dumb. They're going to take those fears and turn it into an old school order form. And you're going to put your credit card in just like you're doing now. And you'll never be the wiser.
Until the uranium shows up at your door.
Until the uranium shows up, or at least the government agency investigating the purchase.
If you get some uranium and you have a flux capacitor. Oh, that was plutonium. I don't know what the difference is.
Processing.
Oh, okay. All right, last one. According to a press release, Outdoor Research has announced its newest team of athletes. This group will be composed of elite skiers and snowboarders, and they will make up the OR Athlete Glove Team. That's right, it's a big win for the accessories category as OR has a glove-specific team. Dave, thoughts on a category-specific athlete team? Is this long overdue? Too specific? What do you think?
Exactly. Where is the Gator team? That's what I want.
Yeah.
Forget about the glove team. I want the OR Gator team.
Yeah.
That's the team I want.
That's right. We've all been waiting years for the Gator team.
Owen, I have to agree. The Gator team is a must. That is what I am here for. Well, I love this. I love the fact that they're making a big deal of it. I mean, it's like not even new. I mean, Skeeta's got a whole business built on athletes wearing accessories, right? So it's not like it's a crazy idea, but it does kind of lead you down the path. Like, why not a Gator team? Why not a headlamp team? Just,
sun hats.
And I want to see that just for the team photo grid. It's all just people with their light flashing right in front of your face. Like, you can't see any of it.
Their face. You're just like,
no, that'd be awesome. That'd just be such a the new headlamp team. And so I think we should ask what else would make a great accessory team. That's my question to everybody. What would you build an athlete team around?
Sticking with OR, I would go with the sun hat. Right, I mean, a good sun hat team. lots of
sun hat team. See, that's great.
Dorky looking dads out there in their OR sun hats. That would be amazing.
See, Sunday afternoon sharpens our elbows and says, "No, I'm coming into this. This would be great. Love it."
I'm writing this down for next week's survey. What would make for a good product-focused athlete team?
That's right. Oh, dude, the sun hat's amazing. That actually could be a competitive category immediately. You take... Yeah, I like that.
I think it's kind of a funny thing that you can make fun of it for sure because it's funny. Hey, we have a glove team, but also like it kind of seems overdue because I'm sure like OR has lost out to athletes to bigger, more well-established or well-funded anyway apparel brands, right? Like the skier went here. It's like, hey, you know what we're really good at? We're really known for our accessories and our gloves. Fuck it. We're going to become that. And I think that was really smart. So now, hey, you want to go be a North Face athlete? Great, but I'm not wearing your gloves because I'm an OR glove, skier.
This is, and it's a little tangential, but this was kind of Wilson's issue for a long time that they lost out to all the athletes wearing Adidas or Nike or, Reebok and things like that couldn't pay, but they had the equipment, they had the racket, or they had the ball, the basketball or the football. And so it's a way to get into the athlete endorsement game, but not playing in that much bigger, more costly stage that might be the entire body.
So, I think the interesting thing here is actually this isn't entirely new because you've got glove specific brands that have athlete teams like Hestra. Yeah. If you go to their site, they have an Our Athletes page, which has a bunch of people that wear Hestra gloves. So, sure, is it news? It's just the fact though that OR, which has a much wider product line, is saying no, we just have a set of glove people.
Great point.
All right, main story today. So per SGB last week, a new footwear brand is on the scene. Stoke Footwear launched on January 5th, and according to its website, it is a shoe brand for, quote, real American men who don't run marathons or walk catwalks. According to Stoke, they deliver fit, comfort, and power. The product itself is running inspired in its look. The silhouettes look like running shoes. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. We'll link it in the show notes. The midsoles have, kind of I alluded to it earlier during another topic, they have a bit of a modern running shoe stack height look to them. But the brand says they are not making running shoes, but instead making shoes for big American men with wide and thick feet. Now, listeners may be asking why we're covering a casual shoe made for people who likely don't do or even understand the activities we do in the outdoor industry. Well, it's because that in addition to being able to buy Stoke footwear direct on their website, last week the brand announced they'll be launching in 450 retail doors across the U.S. Those retailers include Rack Room, Shoe Department, and Shoe Sensation, as well as Academy and, wait for it, Scheels. So guys, this brand is probably making the core outdoor folks lose their fucking mind right now. Owen, let's start with you. Impressions of Stoke Footwear.
Well, I mean, first of all, clearly this thing has some major backing, right? You don't launch with that sort of retailer group without some serious dollars behind you. And also, its founder, Rick Blackshaw, knows shoes. I mean, this guy was previously the leader of Hey Dude, which he built into almost $1 billion brand. CCM Hockey, Sperry, Keds. So he's been around the block. So I'm not. I wouldn't think of second guessing the strategy of somebody like that. But that said, I don't know. I just my problem is whatever. But you can talk about the sort of the Bubba / Manosphere brand positioning, and I'm sure Dave will get into that. But to me, it's the product. If you just took this shoe, and I encourage people to go on to stokeshoes.com and just look at the shoe by itself, and if you took that by itself and said, "What is this shoe?" I think 90% of people say, "Oh, it's a shoe for a 10-year-old boy that's into Buzz Lightyear." I mean, it's stubby, so it looks like a child's shoe. It's got a lightning bolt on the side. I'm not kidding. It has a lightning bolt on the side. It looks like a kid's shoe, and so that to me, I think, is where it's just, I don't know. It's odd.
At $85 price point,
Right.
so it's very affordable. By the way, you're not being insulting. Like, objectively, it looks like a children's shoe. I mean, and all the little features. It has the, hey, you don't need to bend over to put your shoes on. Like big vamp in the back. I mean, like all the sort of Skechers, Hey Dude, sort of little features and benefits for the everyday American. Before we get into sort of the industry piece of it all, Dave, what are your thoughts on Stoke Footwear?
Well, until you put this in front of me, I was blissfully unaware of this brand, and now I am not, and now I cannot unsee it. But
it gave you the opportunity to make more opinions, which is your favorite.
It did. And look, I hate this in the sense that I am all for brands and products that speak to specific people, that if there is a niche for this, then more power to you. But everything Eoin said is right. I mean, stubby is the way you describe this. There's no other word really to describe it. It is a lightning bolt. It does have a superhero kids concept. I kind of likened this if Gimli, son of Gloin, had a trainer or a signature trainer. This might be his.
Or is this the Roy Hobbs signature Wonder Boy?
Well, it's definitely Wonder Shoe, no doubt about it. But I guess for me, it feels, and this may go into the kind of the kids' it feels like it's just trying too hard, right? And so you're good. All these things, even the name, the tagline, "Slip on, Stoke out," which feels a little bit too close to stroke out, and that might be too on the money for the marketplace. Actually,
they do talk about one of their key features, Dave, is big ball girth.
Big ball girth.
When are they launching their OnlyFans channel?
Yeah.
That's what we need to.
Maybe that's where it came from. But I think that leads into the juvenile feel of this kind of man-childy superhero thing.
Right.
And but at the same time, if you'd asked me what I thought about Hey Dude when they were launching that, I would say there's no way in hell that'll go anywhere. That's also juvenile and kind of silly. And look what they did. So what am I?
So the other features are the mansplay midsole. So basically, it's wider toe box.
It tells your toes how to be.
No, not mansplain, mansplay. And then there's the power stack, the most underfoot cushioning. I mean, this thing has got like 40 plus millimeters of stack height. It is basically a platform sole of a kind.
Well, ankle breaker was already taken, I guess, as a name.
So we are not the customers for this. So we were, no matter what their distribution of this was going to be, we would be probably not for us, right? But let's talk for a minute about this, right? Because you mentioned Hey Dude. That's the brand I thought of the most when I saw it. It reminds me of a sneaker version of Hey Dude in that audience. I think what Rick Blackshaw, you mentioned, the founder, what he started here is a little bit of a blow to those kind of core outdoor purists, right? Because they see this brand as the definition of using active heritage to build a brand and product for the non-active consumer. And the strategy is basically being validated out of the gate with Shields. That's the real reason we wanted to bring it up on the pod. it's one of the more respected, larger retailers in the outdoor space. The survey we talked about earlier, somebody saying, I wish we had a Shields in our town in Portland. So that's one of their launch partners. So, Owen, just for a second, you put on your retailer hat, try to take your bias out of it. Obviously, I would never expect to see you rocking a pair of Wonder Boy Stoke footwear, Stoke shoes at a trade show or anything. But if you were at Moose Jaw or another, which was another respected Midwest retail chain, would you have considered being a launch partner for a brand like Stoke?
No. No.
So deflate. No.
Well, a couple of reasons. One is the core values of Moose Jaw was only do what's cool. And really, the subtext of that was we only really sell stuff that we ourselves would buy and wear or use, right? Which is not the case here, or I think certainly not the case for the core buyers within Moose Jaw. This would not have been what they wanted to do. Plus, the price point really is a little bit sub premium. Why?
Sure,
why?
Right.
Why?
$85.
Right. In the current world where the average shoe price, unfortunately or fortunately, but whichever side of the coin you're on, is north of $125, to bring in a shoe at this price point wouldn't have really made a ton of sense for us.
But doesn't it sort of a good example that this is where the industry's going in a lot of ways? I mean, the sea of sameness stuff is real. There's a lot of stuff out there, and a lot of folks who maybe would be a Stoke customer are going to a store like a Shields or potentially other outdoor retailers, and what they're seeing on the wall. I mean, we've talked about this pod a ton, that running shoes used to be the kind of every person shoe that people, and still is to a certain degree, but $120 used to be an expensive pair of running shoes. Now you see that and you're like, oh, that's great. And that price keeps going up. So to have a sort of running-inspired everyday shoe for $85, I think you can make the case that that's probably an underserved market, underserved consumer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it is kind of Hey Dude meets Skechers, right? I mean, that's that's what this thing is. And I just wonder, from a brand perspective, even if it's a great shoe, super comfortable, they talk a lot in their PR about the fact that basically Americans are all overweight and have big, fat, wide feet, is basically what they say.
That's their position, right? For sure.
And so, so that is it. They're basically tapping addressing this underserved market. And I think probably all of that is true from a marketing perspective. I just wonder if that customer is going to want to be associated at a pure brand level with a brand that basically says we're for fat guys, right? As opposed to because it's kind of the anti-athletic brand to a degree. So it's like, well, do I want to be associated with a brand that is sort of anti-athletic, or do I still want to pretend as if I made take off on a trail run on my lunch break because I'm wearing a pair of Hokas to work?
I think the positioning is the most interesting about it. I mean, I buy into that whole carving a distinction amongst the other runners, the actual market need. I think the price play is also, all of that to me is spot on. For me, it's just more about the nuance, the subtlety of the branding to create something that is a little more neutral to that point. It doesn't need to be over athleticized and performance. This just feels a little bit too juvenile. And if you were able to merge that, I think you'd have a really strong play. And I don't think you have to. I mean, they're talking to the trade audience right now about not being athletic. If you go to their site, they're speaking in terms of activity and wearing this. So I don't think that they're going to fall into the idea that people are identifying with I'm inactive and overweight. That's not the play. It's just the reality of this is your body. And do these guys really give a crap? I'm not sure they actually do, but I do think they value strength and modernity in that way, and I think that would certainly help it. But no, I'm just certainly fascinated to see where this thing goes.
It does speak to the manosphere to me in the branding, in all of the terminology. There's kind of an America First aspect to this, right? Which I think it actually says proudly American. Yeah, designed in the U.S. Designed in the USA, made for the men who built it.
Oh, they have the well-known. The founding fathers all wore Stoke footwear. That's common. Everyone. I learned that in school.
Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Guys, what do you think the athlete team is going to be for Stoke footwear? Are they going to pair up with Outdoor Research and their glove team, or?
I so want to see that.
I do think product-wise, they do need the stubby thing, the little kid-looking shoe is like, it's not a good look. So if I'm going to be that's just me objectively looking at it. Like, it looks like you're wearing little kid shoes. So I don't know if that's going to play over well to dudes with big feet. They're going to be like, I don't know about that. So if you get
I think that's where it can be minimizing. I think that could actually work. And like we said, the athlete team, it's like Thorin's company in The Hobbit, right? I mean, it's just going to be a bunch of stout, strong dudes wearing Buzz Lightyear shoes.
Now we're combining franchises. I won't stand for that. I mean, it is. I think it's who knows if this works or not, but somebody recognizing the larger stuff that we talk about in the pod.
Fucker will be $1 billion. Look, it's really what it is, and I just now thought of it. It's almost in a sense of premium Walmart positioning. For so long, like with Walmart, with their shoes, you couldn't pass like the $15 barrier, right? I mean, it was just when I was part of the downing of And One when they were being sold into Walmart, and bringing them up to $20 was a huge deal. It was the first shoe to break that price barrier, and now they've kind of all moved a little bit in some of their kind of like Avias in there, some of their other products. So this, in a sense, kind of feels like we're going at that customer with a product, but $80 now is just kind of that still feels valuable. Like I'm paying some dollars, but like we say, it's in no way relatable to the actual running shoe prices.
That's interesting. That's kind of summarizes the shift here, right? Because if we had seen this, if we had ever been walking at Costco or Walmart and saw the shoe, we'd be like, we wouldn't have batted an eye and would have walked on by, right? Even at $80, probably be like, okay, yeah,
right.
But if you were shopping in a Shields and you're passing a lot of the brands that we talk about in this podcast, and then boom, there's the Wonder Boy Lightning Bolt, Stoke Footwear shoe for $80. There's a little WTF that kind of crawls into your head, So it's interesting that Shields is on board with it. So
do you remember the retailer MVP?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, right. They had all of that. And so I'm going to go back to the same time. And this was the time of Kobe and Kobe's initial shoes. And I forgot what number it was, but the Kobe Adidas shoe that was square and looked like a toaster, like it was just a squared off shoe, walked into one of those MVP, which is already kind of just like, free for all, kind of anything. There were bins filled with that damn shoe without boxes, just shoes of them full, like about 8 to 10 $49.99. That's right.
Yeah.
And it was just all these square shoes. And that for me has been forever connected to MVP and just massive silos of unsold square shoes.
And that might be what happens here. But I think, I think it's telling Shields taking a shot at this. So, we'll keep an eye
it is.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
All right.
I think it's interesting the reviews that they feature on their homepage. So these are handpicked. I'm a bigger guy. It's about time a shoe company focuses on people who aren't ultra athletic. I'm built like a brick shit.
Handpicked? Do you mean pre-written? Is that what you mean by handpicked?
The CEO, right?
I don't know. I am built like a brick shithouse. Stoke is literally made for men like me.
This is like one of us, like, me writing in a review of the Rock Fight, like, boy, the Rock Fight is a really great podcast, really well produced and written and hosted.
That's right. That Colin has great enunciation.
So great.
Like,
yes, I am an average guy that needs a great shoe at a decent price. Said nobody ever. Yeah.
Said ChatGPT.
Right. Said, yes. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, good luck to you, Stoke Footwear. We'll see how this plays out.
Yep.
100%.
When we're all begging you for ad dollars in 12 months, we'll apologize.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
It's time for a party shot.
All right. Time for the parting shot. And this episode is out on Monday, January 19th. And this Friday, January 23rd, acclaimed rock climber Alex Honnold will be free soloing a skyscraper live on Netflix in an event called Skyscraper Live. Really workshop that title. Good job, guys. I don't know about you guys. I'm definitely going to be watching this. I think and I'm sure that there's a really strong chance that Alex will be fine, and all of next week will be filled with press releases and Substack posts and stories on Gear Junkie and Outside about the spectacle of the event and how inspiring it was and blah, blah, blah. And my parting shot isn't for the feat itself, but in the way it's being promoted, which I think is done in pretty poor taste. So the magic of Free Solo, right? The film, the Oscar-winning film that Alex was in, was that it was produced as a film and uniquely outdoor. And despite the fact that we knew Alex didn't die while free soloing El Cap because he was out doing press for the film, it was impossible not to be sucked in by the stakes of his climb and believe that perhaps the outcome wasn't already determined. That's kind of how you felt when you're watching the movie. Now, this one's happening live, so if shit goes sideways, we'll get to join the Bud Dwyer All-Stars of watching someone die live on television, only in this case, we'll have chosen to watch it happen. And that possibility is basically how this thing is being marketed. In the trailer, we hear Alex talk about the inherent risk in free soloing, that he can't plan everything, and that if something bad happens, he's going to die. That's what he says in the trailer. And that's after we see footage of his little kid running around and interviews with his wife. And I know that's all being done to promote the special, and it's working just like Frank Cross's violent promo for Scrooge worked, because I'll be one of the millions who'll be sitting on their couch watching this unfold. And do I have a problem with Alex free soloing a building? Not at all. If he truly has had a lifelong dream of climbing a building like he says in the trailer, then have at it. But using the very real possibility of his demise to market the live broadcast of his climb after pulling my parenting and family heartstrings, it doesn't feel very good. So best of luck, Alex Honnold. Like I said, I'm sure you're confident and the probability of your success is high. But the trailer for the special just made me feel gross, and that's my parting shot.
Okay, and I agree. It's right, because that's what they're selling, that looky-loo, sort of hard in your throat type of piece, because it's live and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know that he's going to make it up this skyscraper.
If he'd done it already and we knew he was alive, I'm on board with that, right? Like, oh, see what happened. But it's like, this is going to happen live.
Yeah, to your point, it's all looky-loo. I mean, Free Solo, you had Jimmy Chin, you had Elizabeth, what was it, Shai Vardashili. Like, it's an Oscar-winning documentary. It was a gorgeously made story. Again, even if you didn't know, I mean, there are a lot of people that probably watched it and didn't know.
For sure, you're right, yeah.
Right? And it's a compelling, this feels like, Fox. Like, you know what I mean? It feels like from the 90s kind of thing.
This is going to date myself dramatically here, but it feels like Evel Knievel going to jump the Grand Canyon kind of stuff, right? It's just
tune in, because you might see someone
die. Exactly. That's the feeling that you get here.
I don't know how you market this. In a less gross way, I really don't like that. You see, again, the shot of the kid running around, and then there's his wife talking to the camera. And if you've seen Free Solo, like, you recognize all of it. It just doesn't feel good. And I wonder. I'm not even going to speculate if the bad thing happens, but it's just like, it just doesn't feel good. So,
okay. So what's the over-under on the insurance policy?
Well, it's Netflix.
Is this a Lloyd's of London type thing? Like, there's got to be something
dabble
here.
in insurance, I don't think.
Oh, so, are you sure?
Yeah,
I'm sure he's covered. Caitlin Clark, right? No doubt.
It's a good question. I mean, they have Netflix money, and they're trying to buy Warner Brothers right now. So I'm sure they could probably pull, if anybody could pull it off, they could. But
yeah, I'm with you, Colin. I agree.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for
fingers crossed. I mean, are you guys going to watch? Because I'm definitely going to watch.
I don't think so.
No, I will not.
You don't think so?
No. I actually now am going to be scouting for Stoked shoes in terms of rewatching the entire Lord of the Rings franchise, looking for characters that could fit.
Maybe that's the sponsor that Honnold needs for this adventure, is Stoked Footwear.
Oh, that's
easy on and off.
It's Stoke, not Stoked, by the way, just to be clear.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yes.
How dare I?
Good point.
All right, that's the show. Send your emails in myrockfight@gmail.com. The Rock Fight's a production of Rock Fight LLC. Today's episode produced by producer Dave, with art direction provided by Sarah Gensert. For Eoin Comerford, I'm Colin True. Thank you for listening, and here to take us out is Krista Makes with the Rock Fight fight song. See you next time, Rock Fighters.
Boom.
Rock fight.